So go back and look at the two, because see now, because you have accepted this whole Satan thing as being our shit. Ain't you ever thought about that for a minute? Here's a man that don't give you nothing. And then all of a sudden he gonna come in your house on a TV and tell you to rebel against Satan, which comes from the word Titan. You see what I'm saying? Which means an ancient race of people that used to live before the other race of people. And there's an old saying, one man's God is another man's devil.
That's right.
Then you got to understand this particular part, that when he say that, you must study that. That's why it's key to get the book, Jeffrey Burton Russell's book. First thing you need to do, if you're going to be a rebel against things, you need to study what the damn devil is. All rebels and devils. Psychology of liberation. Now, it's interesting here. Somebody take one off. It's interesting here. If you study and you have accepted the dark side, which is the melanated side, then go back and get the movie Warlock. Yeah. And everything that the Warlock do, you be the champion. Yeah. The Warlock on first one, he was supposed to reverse the name of God, which would end creation. Well, actually, the name of God or the word of God is actually God's creation. In this case, we understand that that's Zeus, Adalabroth, Jesus, Yahweh, Jehovah, or whatever you want to call the mundane gods. And to reverse the name of that is to reverse the creation. Go and get the movie Warlock, where he was supposed to reverse the name of God. In actuality, he was trying to destroy the creation of God's creation. And then you get the Warlock number 2, where he was dealing with runes, which was stones to destroy creation, which is talking about the philosopher's stone, melanin. The stone that the builder reject will become the cornerstone. So get those 2 movies and restudy that. Or any type of thing. Go and get The Devil's Advocate, key movie. Go back and look at the movie Fallen, key movie. And any movies of dark, sinister type of behavior, you need to go and study and tap into it and find out it's not that bad. That's the nothing thing again. You see what I'm saying? Trying to look at what they call the adversary, which is only means the reverse, or to reverse, or to rebel. You see, to rebel. Is what that's actually talking about. Okay. In actuality, Satan just means the disrespect of life. So what you need to do is start developing a hatred of anyone who has no consciousness, which you do anyway, because it's not something that you do willingly. If you notice, people that are stupid really get on your fucking nerves. That's not because of you. They told you for the love of these people and all this kind of stuff. That's your higher self saying that you don't need to be or associate yourself around dead people if you coming to life. Now, I might have told you this before, but I got a friend with one of my college buddies. And every time I'm getting ready to go to a spiritual phase, or I'm doing a lecture, or something I'm getting ready to do, he'll come to town. Now, he's a good friend of mine. I mean, I love him, as far as good friends go. But he's a dead person, somewhere stuck back in the damn 80s. And I'm like, damn, this motherfucker don't need to come to town at this particular time. Because I know that I have to go into another dimension to be with him. And it was funny because a sister, she said, a sister I was telling her about, and she said, I went to Chicago, and it was horrifying because I had to go back to the 80s or someplace, or the 70s. I had to go back in another dimension just to be with my folks. But every time he comes to town recently, because I'm going higher and higher and higher, I start coming down with a cold. And I couldn't understand why. He came to town in fucking August, and it was hot. And I caught a damn cold for the first time, a summer cold for the first time in damn near 15 years. And I didn't realize what it was, why I caught this cold, but what it was is I literally had to go into another dimension. 2 things, because when you round them, that's a vampire, and you go into that dimension. Plus, to even accommodate them, you got to put your mindset in that dimension where they are, just to accommodate them. Because they would be too scared of the dimension you in. I think that shit is strange. So that alone means that you literally time travel into a dimension and your body is not used to that shit because it's used to being this way. And that's no different than changing seasons. When you go to one state to the other, you might catch a damn cold based on the weather change. You see what I'm saying? So we're talking about the same concept. And he's the type, brother, we could talk about everything ignorant in the world. As soon as I mention something consciousness, he'll shut down, him and his girl. As soon as I mention ignorant, they'll cut back on. Just like a program. You see what I'm saying? So this is the type of hatred that we are talking about. In the book of law, they say compassion is the vice of kings, which means it's the vice. That's the fucking downfall. They say trample down the wretched and the weak. And what are they talking about? They're talking about getting you ready for the ones that you got to do the battle. They say success is our success is our thing. We're talking about conquest. You see, I'm a god of war. You see what I'm saying? So what we're talking about here is using the energy based on what cycle it's in. It's not in a cycle for love. It's in a cycle for hatred. But it's not the same kind of hatred you think it is, because now all the people talking about love, love, love. Love what? Love this fucking world is hell? That's like telling a motherfucker to love a prison camp. You see what I'm saying? So hatred is an actual key. Now, in this book, the Holy Books of Thelema, there's a part in this book called Liber Tesdi. I want to read that particular part if I can get it. And Liber Tesdi. And in this particular part, it says, I am the Lord of Initiation, Amen. I fly and I alight like a hawk. My mother is the emerald of the mighty sweep, are my mighty sweeping wings. I swoop down on the black earth, and it gladdens green at my coming. Children of earth, rejoice, rejoice exceedingly, for your salvation is at hand. The end of sorrow is come. That's what it says, not has, is come. I will ravish you away in my unutterable joy, I will kiss you and bring you to bridal. I will spread a feast before you in the house of happiness. I am not come, that's what it says, I am not come to rebuke you or enslave you. I bid you not to turn from your voluptuous ways and from all your illness and from all your follies. That means that you can screw, you can do anything you want to do. If you want to stick a lead pipe up your ass, if it's your thing, do it. That's what Isaac Hayes said that shit. If you feel that shit on shaft. If you feel like you want to move, move on. That's what it's talking about here, because this is your time. Because you are a different God. They're the immortals and the mortals. You are immortal, so you don't need to be doing the shit the fucking mortals do. That's why your melanin ain't lined up. You supposed to live like a fucking immortal, like a chaos being. You understand what I'm saying? Do your thing. But I bring you joy to your pleasure and peace to your languor, wisdom to your folly. All that ye do is right. If so, be that ye enjoy it. That means be good at it too. But if you enjoy the shit, do it. You see what I'm saying? Do it. The motherfucker in prison wouldn't have no problem if it wasn't some goddamn chapel there telling his motherfucking ass how he fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I come against sorrow, against weariness, and against them who seek to enslave you. That's moralism too. I pour your lustrous wine and giveth you delight both at sunset and at dawn. Come with me, and I will give you all that is desirable upon earth. Because I give you that with earth and its joys are but as sorrows. They flee, but my joy abideth even unto the end. Unto the end. I want to read to the point where he's talking about these weak-ass motherfuckers. Because it's, you know, but anyway, I have hidden myself beneath a mask, which is talking about your own mask. This is your mask right here, this dough face. I'm like a black and terrible God. That's melanin. You see what I'm saying? with courage, conquering fear, shall ye approach me. Ye shall lay down your heads upon my altar, expecting to sweep of expecting the sweep of the sword. But the first kiss of love shall be radiant on your lips, and all my darkness and terror shall turn to light and joy. So this is what we were just talking about also, because when you tap into the darkness, you thinking it's going to be utter terrible. But when you get to the darkness, you'll find out that it's joy and all of that type of thing. You see what I'm saying? You will also find out that it's joy. Only those who fear shall fail. Those who have bent their backs to the yoke of slavery until they can no longer stand up, them I will despise. You see. But ye who have defied the law, this physical law and the white man law, you have conquered by stability or force, you shall take unto me, even I will take you unto me. As I ask you to sacrifice nothing at my altar, I am the God who will give it all. Light, life, love, force, fantasy, fire. These do I bring to you, my hands are full of those. There is joy in my setting out. There is joy in my journey. There is joy in my goal. Only if you are sorrowful and weary, or angry, or discomfort, then ye may know that ye has lost the golden thread, the thread wherewith I guide you to the hearts of the groves of Eleusis, which is talking about, Eleusis is also talking about the underworld also too. My disciples are proud and beautiful. They are strong and swift. They rule their way like mighty conquerors. The weak and the timid and the imperfect, the cowardly and the poor and the tearful, those are my enemy. I come to destroy them. So we got to destroy a lot of niggas too. So this is the concept on what we talk about by eliminating personal responsibility. That's the main thing with the white man tell you, take personal responsibility. We're saying eliminate that personal responsibility, and the only responsibility you need is the knowledge to be your main agenda. The knowledge to be your main agenda. So what does this mean? Does this mean you walk out in the street and don't do anything and just lay on the corner? No, it just means be in the world but not of the world, and you can function on a day-to-day basis, but that is not the main priority. So you can go to work, you can even go sit in on board meetings, and you can do the same damn thing agenda to keep your damn finances going, but you're not necessarily into it. You're just staying on top of the water and doing just enough to stay on top of the water, but not doing like black people from age-old times have done, where we have become the actual job. So we got niggas that become the job, working in a motherfucking 7-Eleven. Can I get a little more mayonnaise? And they pitch a damn bitch over the white man shit. And it's always the one that's got the most menial job that raised more hell about the white man shit. No, I'm in charge of the goddamn butter. I'm in charge of this butter. I'm in charge of this butter. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, we have to get rid of this personal responsibility by being in the world but not of the world, for the simple doggone fact that we have a certain condition that we have become our jobs and our occupation and our status over the future, from the hee-haws to the bourgeois. And this is a sickness that has actually become our ass. We also covered that there's 3 types of race of people on the earth. One is called the hyalic, one is called the psychic, and one is called the gnostic. The word hyal comes from the word hail, and the word hell comes from the word hail, which means physical body and physical earth. The word hyalic means a person that just has a physical soul or a physical body and energy that operates it. The word psychic is black people who have the physical and the spiritual mechanisms, but they dead. And then you have the word gnostic, which is gnosis or genes of Isis, which is a person that knows the consciousness level that they're actually on, and that's the immortal man. But the other one is immortal, but he's still a dead man. So right now, the immortal people are the only ones that's going to have to take the field, and we're going to actually have to deal or have to actually use what we have been given to free the rest of the people. And so it's something like this. Somebody say, well, I still can't see how all the other black people, how this is going to work when all the other black people don't get the particular knowledge. It somewhat goes like this. It's like the same I am because we are. You might be a child 10 years old and might not pay bills in the house, might not have transportation, but because your parents have the means to pay the bills and have the means to have the transportation and have the means to be economically structured, you have the same means. So that has to deal with where each one of us, we represent 1,000 people, or we represent 1 million people for each one of us in this room. They don't have to have the knowledge because you have the knowledge. You have the knowledge for them. So in actuality, we are slaves and servants of the actual people. And they don't have to have the knowledge because you represent 1 million people. So that's how important we are. Just in everyday case, when you say, am I worthless? Then you should think in your mind that for the mere fact that you got knowledge, you are very special and precious as gold because you are carrying the knowledge so your other people don't have to worry about that shit in the insanity that they are actually in. You see what I'm saying? So that alone, the knowledge alone, so people say, no, well, you know, I feel like I should be doing something. But we did that in the 60s, went out and did all kind of shit. And then to no avail, we woke up in the 70s and found out shit. What was it all for? That's because we did things. And there's one thing is called working smart other than working hard. So it's the same thing where you might have the CEO of a building. He might not do the type of work that a motherfucker in the mail room or the shipping room might do. But because he's the brain of the building, he don't have to do that kind of work. It's the same thing with the motherfucking quarterback on the team. You protect his ass. And you do the work. So therefore, we feel that we might have to do physical work. No, getting this particular knowledge is enough because we're talking about something spiritual this particular time. You see, so the whole archetype is we have to go back and we have to tap into this particular part. You see what I'm saying? Prior to the dream. And it's real interesting. Because the energy is so powerful now, the only thing you got to do is imagine. That's it now.
Come on.
The energy now is going to a level. I don't know, for people that never heard this stuff before, believe me, this is 9 years into the scholarship into this. We worked this hard to do. We got,
No question.
We got tapes at the back of the table there for the people who want to get further into this stuff. We got a whole library back there. That's the reason why we cataloged it. So I don't, sometimes I think it's, you know, you want to start from the beginning, but right now, the way things are, you're going to have to, we will give you information for critical study in this particular stuff. But in these texts and all, they talk about that this doesn't exist. Right now, the only thing that exists in the universe is triple blackness and these little particles of light.
Yes.
That's all. But these little particles of light are dreaming. They're dreaming dreams. And the dreams that they're dreaming, they think that they actually exist with these physical bodies and stuff, which doesn't exist. You saw the movie The Matrix. Yes. You saw the movie The Matrix. You need to see the movie for the simple fact it's taken from ancient Sanskrit. What is the Matrix? There's a great mystery. Let me tell you what's true. Can somebody tell me what the Matrix is? No, right now. What did you think? What did the movie say the Matrix was? Unreal reality, basically. Question reality. Saw the movie The 13th Floor. The real mystery of the Matrix is the human brain.
Yeah.
The human brain is telling the spirit inside of you that all this exists. So it puts out signals, they say, electrical wiring to tell you this is solidity, and it's only an illusion. It is what the brain is producing based on the electric wiring that you think all this is real. Now, going back to the particular science, there's a book, Dreams, Illusions, and Other Realities by Wendy O'Flaherty, coming from University of Chicago. The Tibetan Book of the Dead talks about all of this. The Bardo worlds and the different worlds. There's a book called Seeing Through the Physical World by June Singer. Right. Talks about this. Oh, yeah. You see, another book called Androgyny, yeah. June Singer. There's tons of books and stuff to talk about this and all. Now, so, dealing with this particular science, what we have to do now is to override all of this, is now what you think is an illusion or a fantasy or an imaginary world is reality. So you're going to have to go back to childhood. Because somewhere between puberty, yes, you will start not to deal with that foolishness. You see?
That's right.
That's right.
But yet you can go to the Forbidden Planet downtown in Manhattan, New York, which is supposed to be a comic book store.
Oh, yeah.
They in what is called role-playing games. When you walk up in there, you will see white people in their 30s and their 40s.
Oh, yeah.
Probably sit beside you in some boardroom and you thinking you some hot shit because you got a degree. You don't know. On the weekend, these crackers is up in this doggone comic book store learning some stuff that you're supposed to be learning.
That's right. That's right.
You thought that's just for children. Well, what if it's for children? Why they into this whole role-playing game thing?
All right.
And all this stuff. And you saw the movie Unbreakable? And one thing he did say in the movie, I believe that everything in reality, everything is truth, you can find in a comic book. You see, so it's all turned around. Now, the key here is, if this is an illusion, then the imagination is reality. Exactly. Now we're talking about we have the energy that is ready for it, and basically, we'll go back into some of this tomorrow, and basically, only thing you have to do now is just imagine it. Before this time cycle, you might have had delays, maybe 10 years, maybe 2 or 3 lifetimes, depends on how you do stuff. But now we're talking about it can be a matter of days, a matter of weeks, or a matter of hours if you tap in the right way.
That's right. That's right.
The main key here is you got to tell your brain that it's real.
That's right.
The subconscious mind produces what you give it, and it goes to work for you. But it will only work for you if you convince the subconscious mind that it is real.
Exactly.
And until you convince the subconscious mind that it is real, it will not work at all. You see. But we've had several conditioning. We had all kind of conditioning to tell us that in actuality, this is reality and all the other stuff is foolishness. So the subconscious mind, until you convince it that it's real, it will not produce for you. That's in the movie Animation. He said, you got it, but your problem is not in your technique. You got the technique. The problem is in your mind. Right. I know you faster than that. That's the basic quintessential plot of any kung fu movie. Is the guy is the best. He just don't believe he's the best. He gets his ass kicked the whole movie. And then in the middle of the ass whipping for the last time, he said, wait a minute, I'm tired of this junk. I'm the master. It was in the movie of The Last Dragon.
Yeah. Yes.
He looked for the master the whole movie.
That's right.
And in the middle of it, and homeboy showed up. He was showing up because he showed up knew that he was showing up. And he kicked his butt the whole movie. And he was in the middle of getting his behind kicked again. So he said, wait a minute, hold on. I'm the master.
That's right.
As soon as he believed that he was the master, that was it. You see what I'm saying? So when I said, no, wait a minute. I said my damn electricity is not going to get cut off. My gas is not going to get cut off. And the gas didn't get cut off.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? The gas didn't get cut off. You know, one time, when I believed it, it's a matter of whether you believe it. Back in 1995, I believed it. I said, well, I don't have to pay electricity for 4 months. And as a result, my electricity didn't get cut off. That's right. And then when I forgot about it and stuff, I had a bill for a month and the shit got cut off. Depends on what you believe in. on giving